truth be told. It was a pretty desperate attempt. I mean, President Trump picked him. He's going to be a disruptor in the Pentagon. That's what we need. I mean, we need to focus on China. We got to have procurement reform, and we got to root out this divisive DEI stuff. Certainly, some of the questions that I asked to make sure he was going to do that and go after the people who were fired, bring them back in because they didn't take the COVID shot. He's just right on all these issues, and we need him now more than ever.
Yeah. Senator, on so you kind of wrapped up the whole entire thing at the end there, and it felt like there was a ton of momentum. One, how do you think the whole entire hearing went? And then two is, what can people do moving forward to help with the confirmation process?
Yeah, well, first of all, as you saw, the smear campaign that's been coordinated against Pete is nothing new. We saw it happen to Brett Kavanaugh. They did to Clarence Thomas 30 years ago. They did many of us in our elections. This is their tactic. So those of us who know these individuals and have worked with them got to be willing to stand up and speak truth. It's sometimes going to be tough. They're going to go after you, try to shut you down. But if you know any of these people, specifically Pete in this case, get out there on social media, make sure your voice is heard, because if we can drown them in positive reviews like we did today, hundreds of people came out and said Pete's a great guy, he can do the job, and then we have a handful of anonymous people in the background, that speaks volumes. So I think the hearing went as well as it could. It was very frustrating to hear our partners on the side of the aisle just buy into this crap and really never even given a chance to respond. But I think our side did a great job, and he displayed very well.
Yeah, to that point, there were, when he says hundreds of combat veterans that took there were 4 seats that were not occupied by combat veterans. We were joking that there were hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of combat experience, and the only 4 people that were carried out were the 4 seats that we didn't have from the opposing side. I mean, that's just insane. Yeah, so like 95% of the people in there were all there to support Pete, and it was absolutely incredible. Thank you guys so much for everything that you do. And
well, thanks for what you do. And I think one of the things that was mentioned a lot in that hearing, bring that warrior ethos to the top spot. That's unique, and that shouldn't be discounted. I mean, it was the subject of his questions too. That's gonna be top of mind for him, and every decision he makes he's a guy who's got the experience on the front lines, and we need that now more than ever. Like I said,
that's incredible. All right, thank you both.
Right. Cool.
We just got done with Pete Hegseth's confirmation hearing. It's over now, right? It's done. It's exited. So, gentlemen, would you mind introducing yourselves?
Eric Schmitt from Missouri.
From Missouri.
Tim Sheehy, Montana.
Yeah.
Dan Sullivan, Alaska.
Dan Sullivan.
Dan Sullivan.
Hoorah.
Welcome in. Well, I appreciate you gentlemen taking the time to come talk to us today. What did you think about how kind of the way this thing flowed today so far?
Look, he did exactly what he needed to do. He answered these questions, these baseless, anonymous allegations. But the most important thing is I think he put his stamp on what kind of a leader he's going to be, which is he's going to have that warrior ethos. He's going to be there for the frontline folks who are, sacrificing a lot. He's going to reform the Pentagon. We need it on procurement. We need it on focus on China. And we need to root out this divisive DEI ideology. And so I think he was pretty clear. He did great.
Yeah. You feel like he was pretty straight to the point and did a good job of not taking bait on certain things? I felt like he was trying to get baited a couple times in there. You know what I mean?
A couple times, the entire time. From
I'm trying to be generous and being generous. You know what I mean?
Again, as you probably heard my questions, I mean, the point of these hearings is to actually hear from the person and do a job interview. And what we saw there from our Democrat colleagues was just smear. And they were just obsessively focused on the women in combat issue, which, my wife is a Marine Corps officer. I met her in the military. I was a Navy SEAL team leader. So, there's very common sense questions when you look at what is the fitness test table for the Army. You know, women have to do half as many push-ups as the men. That's not a bad thing, but it is a fact that the standards are different because there are different roles. So, the fact that they were very unfair with them on that, I think, was predictable. But I think it was a good hearing in the end, and I think he's going to be fine.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to be fine too. It's just, it was just one of those things, and we were talking about, me and Kaj were talking about it. It felt like there was a little bit of like showmanship. Kabuki theater, yeah. That's
Isn't
how
that
you
what the
get.
entire Senate is, though?
Stick around a while.
Yeah, I mean, I guess depends on who you ask.
Welcome to the U.S. Senate, boys.
Yeah. So here's another thing. A lot of people's big concern is, yes, Russia and everything that's going on with that, but also China and the stuff that's going on with them and our readiness as far as like our naval amphibious force, specifically our amphibious assault force. One of the big things I've noticed is there's been articles and been releases of information in regards to like maintenance readiness for our amphibious assault ships specifically. And that's what you need to get shipped to shore. And like, if there is a war with China, not, and God hoping there isn't, but if there is, you need to be able to get ship to shore, and your readiness on your amphibious assault ships is a serious issue.
All right, as a retired Marine Corps colonel myself, so look, I think Tim asked a great question on shipbuilding, and you can see how focused he's going to be on that.
Yeah.
But this issue, and I raised it in my questioning, the Secretary of the Navy currently under President Biden is failing tremendously. We had a hearing last year, the posture hearing with the Commandant of the Marine Corps, the CNO of the Navy, and the Secretary. I called for his resignation, the Secretary's. Why? Because we can't build ships. He can't build ships. And this guy is literally, you look at his testimony, you look at his speeches, you know what he focuses on? You can't make this stuff up. Climate change. Climate change, and by 2030, the Chinese are going to have a fleet, a Navy fleet, almost 150 ships bigger than ours.
Yeah.
They're cranking out ships.
They're cranking them out, yeah.
The fact that the president, Trump, and Pete Hegseth and the Congress are so focused on shipbuilding, it's going to be really important. On the amphibs, I got a provision in 2 years ago, the NDAA, to make it a minimum of 31 amphibs, okay? A minimum.
I know some people are going to be pretty happy about that.
Okay, so no, but here's the thing. 2 years ago, the Secretary, Biden's Secretary of the Navy, his posture hearing, I had his shipbuilding plan, right? And you know what? He didn't have 31 amphibs on his shipbuilding plan. And I said, Mr. Secretary, what are you doing? I said, this is required by us, by the law. Like, where the hell is your 31 amphibs? Well, Senator, we're going to look at that. I'm like, no, we're done looking at it. We made the order. You're going to follow it. You're going to follow the law. You know, under the law, we got to have 10 carrier strike groups. Congress put that in the law. I put in, with the committee's unanimous agreement, Dems and ours, 31 amphibs. These guys wouldn't even do 31 amphibs. And exactly to your point, how do you do ship to shore for the Marines? If you don't have big, and it says 31 amphibs with a minimum of 10 big deck amphibs. So it's in the law. Biden wouldn't follow it. I guarantee you Hegseth and whoever the new SecNav is, well.
Yeah. I mean, this is just a concern. A lot of people are genuinely concerned about it because the Marines right now specifically, a lot of the Marines are training to fight in the littorals. And in order to get to the shore, you need ships. You need ships that can take you there. And the Navy Marine Corps partnership, like that's going to be a huge deal if we ever go into any type of major situation with China, especially with the situation that's going on with Taiwan and the semiconductor production. And they're doing a lot of stuff over there. We can see everything they're doing. Everybody can see everything that's going on. With like the barges and just all the preparation that they're making, because it seems like they're trying to make a move at some point. A lot of people are estimating here in the next 5 to 10 years. Maybe we'll see something in a different timeline than that. But
well, Xi Jinping's called for being able to invade Taiwan by 2027. That's 2 years from now. That's what he's told his military to be ready to do. So look, my final point: if you look at Pete Hegseth's opening statement, it was strong, right? It was really strong. And I think everybody should take a look at that. Getting back to lethality, getting back to war fighting, focusing on the defense industrial base. That was a strong, focused hearing. And I think that's what opening statement. I think that's what the American people want.
Yeah, I think so too.
Hoorah, guys. Thanks.
I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Appreciate it.